Okay, so far so good. Here's my new slide, my new dimmer. And it comes with the same wires in the back. Most dimmers have these wires in the back like that. Okay, so I'm just going to straighten them out here. Now see, these are more stiff. This is probably stranded wire, but then they connected the end and then they put some solder or something on there and tightened it up so it looks like solid wire. Okay, and see how long these are? How long that is? Wire nut. They gave me 3 new wire nuts. The wire nut is just barely long enough to cover the end. I usually cut these just a hair shorter. I don't know if you can see that on these. The wire is not cut that long. Okay, and this one here is just a hair longer than the other one, and I like to try to make them about the same length. These are about a ½ an inch long or so. Okay, so I'm going to take these black ones and I'm going to make these about a ½ an inch. I'm just going to cut off a little bit on the end. Just a tiny bit. That's all. The ground one I don't have to worry about. It's stripped back far enough and it's just going on bare copper wire there. Okay, so now I'm going to take my wire nuts and I'm just going to hook them on. I'm just going to bend it there and hold these, line those two up at the ends, put the wire nut on there and twist it. I'm kind of holding these two tight and I'll feel that they're kind of going together, and I want to pull on these a little bit, make sure they're on there nice and snug. Sometimes you get them on there and you think, oh, it's tight, and then you just kind of test them and pull on one and the wire could come right out. I've done that many times. Even though it feels like it's tight, I'm still going to kind of pull on it and check it. I see, I just bend the wire over like that, sideways. Line the two up. And I'm going to save those other wire nuts for the other dimmer switch. See, I still have those. I'm going to save those. They're still working. Here's my old dimmer switch. And that one's going to match up exactly the same as the one in the study. Okay, so now I'm going to kind of hold this and just kind of bend the wires back in there. And I got to do it in such a way, let's see here. You remember before they were pushed way back in there. I've got to do it in such a way to where everything is going to be pushed back in there and off to the side, because this is pretty deep. I want to make sure it can push in there all the way. Okay, so I try to keep that straight, coming down a little bit before I bend it. And then I can kind of fish it in there. Try to keep your fingers off of your wall the best you can. And if you get them on there, get your grubby fingers on there too much, you can wash those off later. You know, try to do it in such a way to where I can get the wire nuts back there all the way. See, now I can push that in, make sure I can get it in all the way, and I can. If you can't, then you're going to have to pull that back out, try to position the wire nuts in there. best you can. You know, you don't want any pressure on this without this having to be up nice and tight, because the new mounting screws, they're going to go back in the plastic box, and you don't want any pressure on those on the back side, okay? Because you might strip the wire or the screw out of the plastic box. And I just do these by hand. It doesn't take very long. And see, there's a nice long slot there, so I can kind of move this to the right or the left a little bit once I get this positioned. Because I want it nice and straight up and down, even with this other one. In fact, that one almost looks like it's slightly crooked, just a little bit. I'm gonna line that up. It looks pretty straight there. Way I can snug that up just until it's tight. I don't like using an electric battery operated drill for that. That looks pretty good. If anything, it looks like the bottom could be pushed in just a little bit more. There you go. Well, looks pretty good. In fact, this one's slightly off. If I wanted to, I could loosen that up, because you could measure these. Looks the same off of the wall here. That's 2 3/8. That's a long 2 3/8 there, which means it's 1/16 over. It's still, you know, pretty good. Now put the little screws back in. And just again, make those snug too. Don't over tighten it, or else you could crack the cover plate. There. Well, we'll test that out after we put the next one in. And that's going to be next. You know what? Should I mess with this? Let's just pull this off. Boys, whoever tightened that. They put a slight crack in the cover plate because they put it on too tight. And I know the top needed to be gone over a little bit, and I can see where I might not be able to slide it over very far that way, so I'm going to do the bottom. Looks like the bottom could be slid that way. Okay, this is like for a little speakers that were up in the ceiling. This here, that looks fine. Okay, I could measure right off the edge of that. Now that little hairline crack was up there. I'm going to turn it upside down so it's on the bottom. And I can hold that on there where it goes. It looks like it's going to be fine now. And if that's something that really bothers you, crooked cover plates, which it's kind of my pet peeve, you can do it. That's simple. Okay. I know the power's off, and this was low voltage, and it might have even been on a different circuit, but now both of those are lined up nice and straight. Okay, look good. Doesn't that look good? Okay. Basically, I did that all because this one didn't look exactly like that. I'm going to put this one in the study because in the study, that one is the same style as this. And that's what I'm going to do next. And I think I might even continue that on this same video. See, that's going to go. I'm going to take this regular light switch off. Here's the dimmer switch that goes in this room up above the fireplace right there. I've got these other two lights, this one and that one down there, that's connected to this switch here, okay? And Momi wanted a dimmer on that, so I'm going to put this dimmer there. Now this dimmer will match that one. That's just how I do things. Try to match up things the best I can, okay? I'm going to get set up and get ready to go. You want to keep watching this video, keep watching, and I'm going to take this cover plate off, and I'm going to have to be careful to a certain extent. I'm only going to take this one switch out, and I'm going to put the dimmer in its place. That's all I got for this time, but I'll be back with more videos.